So everybody, Amanda's here today. If you want to say hi to Amanda.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah,
I haven't met a lot of the new agents. So I know there are a few people on here I have not met yet.
Yeah, I'm so glad she could help us with this today. She's been using OneSuite for a very long time and has a lot of good tips about this CRM. So we're both going to be sharing our computers at certain times. So just bear with us a little bit. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. And this slide deck has some older screenshots, and I know some of the app and especially the desktop version of OneSuite has been updated to a different layout. So don't worry if what you're looking at looks slightly different. That just means that they're constantly updating things, and that's a good thing because ROG loves to reevaluate and update. And that's a good thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
So the CRM, if you are not yet familiar with it, is called OneSuite, and there is an individual app for it. So if you have not downloaded that app, go ahead and take the time to, because it's really helpful, especially on the go, in order to add contacts really quickly and make any changes to your CRM contacts, leads, and it has some editing ability on your drip campaigns, the mechanics of, adding them to contacts and things, not necessarily changing the order of the campaign letters or anything like that. That is best done on the desktop.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't build a whole drip campaign on the app. That would be too tedious to do. Yeah.
The app does give you the same statistics that you'll see in your dashboard on the desktop version of OneSuite. So you will see when your contacts are interacting with the things you are sending them, or how often people are visiting your website, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And if you are using OneSuite for all the really great tools like listing reports, market reports, and the campaigns, you'll see what is active in your account from here as well. So you'll see your active contents on the app and on the desktop, which will show you that screenshot in a minute. But you'll be able to, of course, edit your contacts, change out an email or phone number if you are out to coffee with a client and they give you their new email or phone number, or add in new people. You'll be able to see birthdays and anniversaries, so you can sit on the app if you have downtime and send your birthday notices, things like that. You can set tasks in the CRM, just like any good CRM, and those will show up on your desktop or your dashboard as well. You can go ahead and do property searches and set up your open house registration from the OneSuite app. And Allison, you may have more experience using this as an active agent.
The open house registration. Yeah. Because when I do open houses, I use my iPad. So on the iPad, I mean, obviously you could go to, the web browser and go to
either or. Mm-hmm.
But I use the app version for open house sign in when I do open houses on my iPad. Be tricky on your phone, but I'm sure you could do that too.
Oh, and here it is. Sorry, I had another slide. Mm-hmm. From the app, you can see, well, the QR code's probably the easiest way if you're using it from your app and you don't have an iPad at the registration, so people can go ahead and just scan the code. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in your CRM, you will have two different titles or ways to organize your contacts. You have contacts, who are people who you manually add in, you import or sync with your email. And you have leads. And the leads will come in from a source, such as your website or the value if someone goes on your website and looks up the value of their property. Those come in a different way. But of course, you can contact and interact with them and set them all on campaigns in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
This is the old version of the dashboard on OneSuite, so it looks different now, but all these tiles are now on a left-hand column, and we'll show you that live after the slide deck. And lots to do in OneSuite between the leads management and the drip campaigns, and then also using your website. So today we are going to move over the drip campaign creation and setup, but these slides do show you the navigation on getting to it, and we are not going over the newsletter. Is that right, Allison?
I am going to go over it briefly because the newsletter is a drip campaign letter. That's what it is. It's just a letter that we create, because when you create drip campaigns in OneSuite, you're essentially, if you're creating your own and not using the ones that they have already designed for us, you are creating a series of letters and you are grouping those letters together and calling it a campaign. And that's what, you have the ability to do with OneSuite. But every month we create the newsletter, which is just one drip campaign letter that we post every month and you guys can send out. So I just did want to go over that really quickly. And it kind of shows you how you can create your own letters for drip campaigns too. But we're going to share this slideshow with everybody so that you'll have this, recording of what we're going over today. And then you can have this slideshow to go through these exact, what you click to create your drip campaigns.
So you can take it at your own pace and you don't have to try to keep up with us today. But these are the mechanics of it, what to click on, what to, where to change and edit it. And then here is what the editor looks like when you're inside of it.
And I'm going to jump into that right now, Amanda, if that's okay.
Yeah. You want me to click out of this?
I'm going to share my screen now.
There you go.
Okay, well, now we can see how the screen looks different from the slideshow. I think it was maybe I don't know, a few months ago, this changed over to this new look, but it is a little bit easier to navigate, I think, because you have, the options on the left. Before, they had all the options on the top and on the left and in the tiles. So it was a little confusing, but I think this is a little bit more visually easy to understand. You've got, you land on this kind of home page here, and you've got your client tracking dashboard right there at a glance. And as Amanda was mentioning with the contacts and leads, and what's the difference between contacts and leads, when you click on your contacts, you can start to see what's a lead versus somebody I entered into here on my own. If it's a lead, it's going to have these little funnels next to them. You can see all the funnels. These are people that came in through different ways, through my website. Some of them came in through listing advertising on the web, clicked through that way. Anytime you're putting your listing out there through OneSuite, or you're boosting it, or you're getting your website in front of people, it's going to drive leads here into your contacts. And you can even see over here in the request type section, it tells you like how they got in there, through HomeSpotter, through open house registration. So that's the difference between contacts and leads. And once you're in this desktop version, you can really see the information about each of these entries here, which is pretty cool. But we're going to go on down to, we're going to scroll on down to the Drip Campaign Center. This is where you're going to come when we share this slideshow with you, so you guys can walk yourselves through building the campaigns. To build the campaigns, you're going to need to come to this center. After you've built the campaign, you're going to come back to your contacts, and that's where you're going to assign people to the drip campaigns. Okay, so create the campaigns in the center and then come back to contacts and assign groups or individual people to these campaigns. Today, we're going to look at a drip campaign letter. So all the letters that the company has created for us, that includes your leadership here as well as Realty ONE Group as a company, are all listed here. So you can see every single letter that they've created. So every month we create one letter, which is the newsletter. So you can see the list of all the newsletters that have been months before. If you come into company letters, you can take a look at what this month's letter looks like by clicking the little eyeball to take a look at it. It doesn't look exactly like this when it comes through on people's emails. I mean, obviously it's more centered and it has like a frame and things like that, but this is just the preview of the letter, so you can get an idea. Move things around here of what it's going to look like. I try to make it look kind of appropriate for each month when I design it. But let's say you wanted to use this newsletter that I worked on this month. As you see up here, all of these letters are listed in company letters. So what you need to do to make changes to these letters is you need to move them over to your personal agent letters. And the way that we do that, you can't change anything about these until you've got them in your agent letters. So the way we do that is we're going to just click this little box right here, and we're going to press copy. Okay, so now it's giving me some choices here where I can change the title of this letter. I can change the subject line. I'm going to be able to edit the letter here. But what I like to do to just make sure that I've moved it over to my agent letters is I do this. I just change the name, because we keep it generic because it's for the whole company. And I go ahead and save this. It always likes to tell me it created the record. Now, when I click over to agent letters, it's going to be right here at the top. And I've done this several times. That's why you guys can see I have so many March newsletters. But the one I just copied over is right here. And now I have more choices of what I can do with it. I can actually edit it. I have the little pencil here. So now I can make changes to this. I'm going to briefly show you guys how I can do that. Again, here's this page again. But now I'm going to edit the actual newsletter. And I'm going to click here on Modern Editor. That's what they call this platform, the Modern Editor. It's kind of like, it's almost like building a website. You've got all these blocks over here that you can use to build your letters. So when you guys want to make your own drip campaigns, you can choose from all these blocks to build out your letter. It makes the email that you're sending a little bit more interesting looking, a little bit more professional, rather than just putting some text over here. You can do colors, you can do pictures that are going to be inserted here. It just depends on which block that you choose over here. Some of these have photos. Some of them are actually blocks that are going to include a listing. So a property listing, this pulls directly from MLS. You could do 2 listings right next to each other, 3 listings. If you just want to add your email signature to the bottom, you could pull that block over. But this is how we build these newsletters. We just pull the blocks over and then we start editing them. So you can send this letter out without doing very much changing at all, or you can add things to it if you want to. Obviously, you're going to need to change the picture because that's not you. So to change the picture, you simply click on the picture. You're going to come over here to image browser. You're going to have your photo, hopefully, saved somewhere on your desktop. Oh, here's another picture I have. Let's see if that'll go in there. Amanda, can you guys see what I'm doing? Sometimes when I go to different.
I can. If anyone else is having an issue, they can pipe up.
Okay. Yeah, good. Sometimes when I click on different screens, I'm afraid it's not sharing that.
They're all confirming. They can see.
Okay, good. So over here in this section, again, we keep it pretty basic because we want you guys, for this to be easy for you guys to change. But if you did want to add some copy to this newsletter, one of the newer things that ROG has integrated into the CRM as well as Creative Design Studio is this AI content generator. So let's say you wanted to come over here and do like a little intro for the spring real estate market in Charlotte. You can click on the AI content creator. You can choose, do I want to be like very casual with this little paragraph I'm going to include here? How long do I want it to be? I want it to be pretty short. There's a whole tips for creating content here. Welcome to the, oops. Let's see what it spits out. And it just writes you a nice little paragraph. Obviously, you've got to proofread this. If it's something and it doesn't make sense, don't insert that there. But it's kind of a neat tool. I'm sure a lot of you are using ChatGPT AI to create content for things. So now that it has been incorporated into our CRM as well. I didn't read that whole thing. I hope it makes sense. But I'm not going to be sending this out today. Logan and I have always used this tagline. We like to ask for referrals. Like, remember, you have to ask for the business. I will tell you that this photo here, it also is linked to a website. So if you look over here, when I change the photo, it's got a source here, a URL. You need to make sure that the URL is pointing to your website, not my website. It won't automatically update when you change the picture. And all you got to do is put your name here because that's how all of our websites work. Unless you have your website pointed to some other domain that you need to point it to. But just always make sure you're updating these pictures because when people click on them, it will take them to a website. And you don't want them to go to my website. You want them to go to your website. Same thing for this button over here. And the way that you update this button is you click over here on all the components in this block, because remember, this is a block. You go down to the button and you make sure that that button's going to take people to your website. So this section up here is really the section that requires the most changing, but it's just changing your picture, changing the information here, making sure this goes to your website, and making sure the button goes to your website. All the articles, you can just keep those exactly the same. They don't take anybody to my website or anything like that. They're just going to bring people the information. We go ahead and load some listings in here that we think might be interesting for people to check out. We try to put, something active, maybe something coming soon. And these are obviously all Realty ONE Group Revolution listings. Now, one thing you do have to do down here with the listings, so let me go ahead and click on it so I can get down to this block. Remember, there's a button. We want the button to go to your website. So make sure that the button is pointing to your website.
And Allison, that button is going to that property on your website.
Yes. Right? Even though this is not my listing, it's a firm listing. So I can advertise this property to anybody that comes to my website, and it's going to look like this is my listing. It's going to look like that when people click on it, but it's a firm listing. So just always make sure you update your buttons down here. And that's only if you don't change the listings. If you come in here and want to completely change this listing, let's say Michelle has a listing and obviously Michelle wants her listing to be on her, newsletter. I would come here and I would click on the picture, and then it's going to say over here, do you want to change the property? Yes, I would put in the MLS number for my new listing, search it. It'll appear right here, and I'll press the check mark, and it's going to change the listing to Michelle's listing, and it's going to bring over all the information from MLS. If that's the case, if you change these listings, you don't even need to update the button because the button will update on its own. Okay? So that's really the only changes you need to make to this newsletter if you want to use it for yourself. So after I make those changes, I can look at it, I can preview it. See, it looks a little bit nicer in this preview. I always send it to myself because I like to click all the links and make sure everything's working correctly before I send it out to everybody. So here's where you can do that. But always make sure you're saving everything. Save and close this out. Okay. Now that I've finished updating and changing the newsletter, it's time to send this to people. So I'm going to click on the little envelope next to that newsletter. I send this to everybody in my CRM. You can choose to only send it to a certain group that you have arranged in your CRM because you can arrange people by groups, but I just send it to everybody. And once you change that to all contacts, you click send, it's going to be sent out. So once you've done this a few times, you can do it in about 5 to 7 minutes. But I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to send that one. I've already sent mine for this month. Yes, and so this is where you would come to also just create your own drip campaign letters and then put those letters in a campaign and put your contacts on those campaigns. But again, Realty ONE Group does have a lot of drip campaigns already created for you. And you can come here to the Drip Campaign Center to look over these campaigns to see if there's something that you would want to put your clients on without having to reinvent your own thing. But there's a ton of them already created here for you. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? The newsletter and creating a letter or copying a letter?
When you make a copy of it, how did you get it into your personal files?
Yeah, I was here at company letters to find the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked the box next to it and I copied it.
Yeah.
And remember, I added my name. So I could discern that this is my letter, not, I want to customize this one. I saved it. And now when I switch over to agent newsletters, see, now I've made another one. There it is.
Okay. It automatically goes into yours.
Yeah, if you copy it.
Okay.
You have to press copy from company letters, copy.
I did it before and then I forgot.
Yeah, it's like a process that the first time you do it, you're like, okay, how do I do this? And then once you've done it a couple of times, it pretty much makes sense and you kind of remember the process. But another thing, this is being recorded. You guys can watch this as many times as you need to. And I will constantly always point out that there are some amazing resources in OneSuite to take you through. Now you probably can't see my screen anymore, but they have down there where it says resources. I mean, there's a video and a walkthrough on everything that you can want to do with OneSuite, even if it's just the first time you've ever used OneSuite and uploading your contacts. Sometimes that can be a cumbersome thing, and they do walk you through that. So just always use those resources over there. So now I think Amanda's going to share some stuff with us about managing your website.
Yes. And before I pull up an agent website, Allison, can you just click on the My Website right there above resources to show where you would go? So this is where you would go to the website editor. When you hit website editor, it'll open a whole new screen, which I'll show you here in a second. Also, Allison, will you click on My Communities right there under it?
Yes.
Under website editor.
I have to change.
No, it's fine. So My communities is going to be this, if you click new, I think. So the company already has some communities preloaded. And what this means is it's by zip code. And these are sort of customized searches that can be shown on your website. And I'll show you what those look like on the agent's website in just a sec. But you are essentially creating a custom search from the MLS and turning it into a community web page. So you can call it, you could do Ballantine, right? And you type in the Ballantine zip code, and you can upload a custom, image that represents Ballantine, and then it creates this whole community page about Ballantine, and that can go on your website. And I'll show you an example of that. But this is where you would create your own if there is one you want on there that is not already preloaded into the company list, or you want to kind of separate out a community that has multiple zip codes into certain areas. And we'll show you what that looks like.
And I think, if you, do you think this could get as precise as a neighborhood? Can we do that, you think?
It's, in my experience, you can only pull it by zip code, but we can play around with that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I can try, I can test drive it later and see how specific we can get.
Okay.
Maybe. That's a maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Well, optional listing criteria. Okay. I think if there's people out there that like farm communities or live in a certain community and want to highlight that, that was something that I think we should explore or play around with at some point in time.
Okay. So I am going to share, here is an example of an agent website right when it's created. So we can see the silly default image that we see everywhere that we definitely want to change out in the background. But this is the layout that is preloaded onto your website. Now, this editing site is going to look exactly like the public site, except for just a few things. On the top left, you'll see a drop down to make some editing tools here. And then on the top right, you have another drop down for some editing tools. And then next to and underneath a lot of these, like the taskbar here, and each block, there will be different editing tools. Like here is a hide button with an eyeball with an X through it. There are a lot of plus signs around here. And there is a little gear in each block on the home page. So those are your editing tools. Otherwise, the site looks exactly like it would to the public once it is live. It will be saving as you go. So once you make a change under each of these tools, it will be live almost immediately on your site. Okay. So as you can see, we have some preloaded things. Here is a featured neighborhood section, which is also called communities. We have featured listing section, which we can do a bit of tweaking and editing to. This one is blank right now because this is a just sold section, and we're going to hide it because this is a brand new agent, but you can manage it from this gear, and you can also manage it from this top left toolbar up here. And I can just show you that. The solds, if you have maybe a property that you don't want to show in your solds section, let's say you had like a land deal or a rental or something, then you can always pull it by MLS number and remove it. And the same thing also goes for listings. So you can manage your featured listing section to show what you want it to show. If you are in the Fort Mill office, but you want all of the Charlotte listings to also show on your website, then you would need to change this to my company instead of my office, because my office is going to pull only your Fort Mill Indian Land listings. So if we click on my company, we will now see more listings in this, but then you might also see some listings like this land, which is not, you know, the most prettiest picture. So we could remove that so that it won't show in the little sliding bar on your homepage. So we can just click. Oh, it's taking an extra minute.
I didn't see. How did you change that back? Excuse me, that background picture. That big.
Oh, I
house.
haven't done that yet. I'll show you.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet. I was working one of the blocks. Okay, let me go back to. Okay, if you ever want to go back to the home page, because see, right now I'm on an editing page. We click on the logo, and it should take us back to the home page. Okay, I was on an editing page. That's why you didn't see the background anymore. I can edit the background right now, though. To edit the background, we go to this right-hand toolbar and manage banner. So the background is called a banner. When we go to manage banner, it is it's not showing anything because the default image is there. You can import from the library or you can add your own images. The library does have some good stuff. It has some ROG branded stuff, which is, you know, just fine. And it also has some unbranded ones. If you click on load at the bottom, it does have a few that are more kind of Southern Midwestern style, with some white picket fences and, you know, some more colonial style looking buildings rather than all the coastal type buildings at the top. But we could just click a couple. Maybe we click an interior one and we click an exterior one and we click one at the lake. So you can add as many as you want. It will turn into a slideshow on your homepage. And once we are done, we'll click back to manage, or you can just click on the logo. And now I have the 3 photos that I selected. There were some pop-up windows that you didn't get to see, I don't think. But the prompts are very easy to follow. So let's say I want the White House as my primary photo, then I would switch these around and I can change the order. And then once I'm done, I click out of there and it automatically updated. And you'll see that they take a few seconds, but they should flip through. There we go. And so your backdrop flips through. You can add short videos also to your background, but they have to be very small files. There's a file maximum. It's 10 or 15 minutes, I think.
I saw another agent, Realty ONE agent's website where he had like a drone footage of
There you go.
an area that he works in or a town that he works in, and it looked really cool. But it must have been a small file. But you could upload, like if you wanted to have just Charlotte pictures or just Fort Mill pictures, like you can put whatever pictures.
Absolutely. So that is how you change the banner on, or the background. Now, as we scroll down through the homepage, you'll see that we have some of these blocked sections. There are more to add though. On the top left tool bar, if we go to manage widgets, widgets are all of the different block sections you can have on your homepage. There is one for the mobile app, so I'll go ahead and select that one. Let's say I don't like that market report, so I can remove that. Also, there are custom ones. So if we want a image with text box, and then we want to make a custom content box, we would you would activate all of those. Reviews and okay, reviews is on here too. If you have a testimonial, I don't know if this is still the same. Let's try it. We'll take a look at that one. Click save, and then your whole page will update with your selections. And now we have a one mobile app link right here. We have our custom content with image block right here. Just a custom text content block. And oh, the bottom one is going to be reviews. So I think this must be, you just add in a link to an outside one. Okay. So since we learned what that was, I can go ahead and hide it again. You can hide it directly from here or back on the widgets page. And now it's gone. Okay. This one too. Oh, that's the solds. All right. So here I have the communities section. And if you activate communities back in your profile on OneSuite, then this block called featured neighborhood will be here, and you can change the name of it. If I go to edit, here I can change the name of it, call it whatever I want. Also on the layout, I prefer the 8 block instead of the 4 blocks. So I'm going to switch to the 8 block and hit save. So now it updates to an 8 block. In Kira's account here, we don't have a bio yet, and we can activate. Let's see if the bio. About me, the bio is activated on hers, but since it's not showing on the homepage, we know she doesn't have one. That means we need to go back to OneSuite to your agent profile, which we can show at the end, and make edits. And all of those edits will flow through to your website. So if you want your bio in there, it would go right under the home value estimator right here. And the home value estimator is always there. I don't see a reason to turn it off.
Amanda, I add on the newsletter every month, add a block. The one I was just showing you guys, I add a block on mine with a link to the home value estimator on my page. And when I send that newsletter out with that, almost every month somebody clicks on that and puts their information.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And so then I know, oh, that person's like wondering what their home is worth. You know, it just lets me know who's wondering. So that is, if you go to that link on your webpage, just copy the URL and you can add it to your newsletter and get people to drive traffic that way to your website.
That's great. And whoever fills out that form and hits that submit, that get estimate button right there, they go into a separate list in your OneSuite next to your contacts. So that's back in your OneSuite account.
And you receive an email that they did that.
Oh, very good. That's okay. Here, let's go to just the basic website settings and let's look at some of the other layouts. Here you can sort of tweak the headers and the themed colors on your website, play around with to see what you'd like. Most of them are in the black, white, and gold color scheme. Here we have the black theme right now, but you can change it around. And then you can put, if you have a team, you can put your team logo next to the company logo up at the top. And I can certainly help with that if you need to do that for additional branding. But up here, let's go to change layout. There are at least 4 or 5 different layouts. Layout 1 is, of course, the default, where you see the agent photo at the top left and contact information. Here is another one. It just moves around to a different spot. Here's one without photo, and here's one with a large photo. So let's select this one. Let's say we want our agent photo. We paid a lot of money for a headshot, so we want it nice and big. Okay. Now it just moves and it did change the navigation bar up here. The logo is now on the left, just looks a little bit different. Everything else on your website towards the bottom stays the same. Okay, now in your navigation bar up here, you have some defaults. The what's my home worth, of course, is the home estimate, and that is there. You can hide it if it's here too many times, but I think you probably want to keep it, or you can move the order of these. The property search, if you haven't played with it on the Realty ONE Group website yet. I really like it because every time you click on a property, it takes that property, it shows its own individual URL on your webpage. So just like Allison was talking about in the email, in the newsletter email, each of those listings has their own unique URL and it's on your website. So if I click on this first listing on Pale Moss, oh, it opened it in a new window. You didn't get to see that, but it has its own URL with that listing, shows all the photos, pulls all the information from the MLS, and it pulls that information from not just the Canopy MLS, but let's say we are on the edge of the MLS and like maybe down, I don't know, in Chester or something. If the listing is in the Columbia MLS and not in Canopy, you will still see it on your website because of the firm's membership within the Columbia MLS. So if you have clients looking on the periphery of Canopy, they won't miss any listings that are in an adjacent MLS, which is really great. So your clients can, navigate your website without really feeling like they're missing anything. So it's a really great alternative if you want to keep your clients off of Zillow or Realtor.com so they aren't getting ads for other agents.
Yes, Michelle was mentioning if our firm is a member of the MLS, you can set up property searches for your clients through your OneSuite, accessing all of those MLSs.
Mm-hmm.
So you can set them up on like a beach house search if you would like to, if it falls within that MLS that we're a member of, because we can't do that from Canopy, but you can do that from your OneSuite website.
Absolutely. And you can do it in two different ways. So your client can come to your website and click on sign in or sign up, and they can go ahead and sign up and do their own listing alerts and pick their own area that they want while they're on your website. Or you can go in your backside of OneSuite on the desktop and you can create those listing alerts to send to them just like you would in your MLS account. And we do have a tutorial on that. And just like Allison showed in the resources, there are videos on how to do that too, but we can help if you need to do that with a client. Okay, you can also set up custom searches and you can add them here. So let's say you do work a certain market in a very focused manner, like, I don't know, Rock Hill is Jordan still on here? Pick on Jordan. And I should just show Jordan's website.
He's not on anymore.
He's not on anymore. Okay.
Really pick on him.
That's funny. Let me show Jordan's website because it is a great example. Okay, so Jordan has customized his website just a little bit by adding some custom searches. So here's his Rock Hill Homes link, and he has a couple of custom search criteria. So let's click on this downtown Rock Hill one. Okay, so he had typed in Rock Hill into the search criteria and then saved that specific URL for that Rock Hill search. And so every time you click on that URL, it takes you to the current version of that search for what's in the MLS. And so here we have 56 homes. So this is very targeted. And if you are marketing to that focused of a group of clients, then this might be something that you would like to know how to do. And let me click on his under 250 one also. Oh, that one didn't work. Here,
Maybe
oh,
there
no,
is.
it did work. It was just slow. Okay, so this search criteria, the under 250,000 search criteria, has 165 homes. So this also gives your clients some examples how to use this search tool in order to pull them up. Now, on Jordan's website, he has a link to new construction. And if you have set up your new construction, this is probably going to click out. Yeah, it's clicking out into a different. Does this one click into? No, these are clicking out into a different window, which you can't see. But showingnew.com is a really great tool that Realty ONE Group gives you a free agent account on. And in your one login, if you activate your free agent account on showingnew.com, then it takes you to a whole separate sort of MLS site that is only for new construction. So a lot of builders have their communities listed on it. You can explore that site and learn how it can be a good tool for you. And we can add it to your website, just like we did for Jordan's. So this,
Amanda, is that now New Home Source Professional?
It is.
Name?
It
Okay. Sorry, guys. That's New Home Source Professional. I think they did change their branding.
So here's what that site could look like if you activate your free account on there. It does not sync with your OneSuite as far as these save searches and listings, but if you have a client that is really focused in on new construction, this might be the place for you to push them to more than the MLS. So if we go on here and we are going to look at Rock Hill new construction communities, you'll see that they are organized by community. And again, this just might be a place where you have a certain client that might they might get more out of this website. And of course, they'll set up searches. They can communicate to you. You can kind of customize their experience on here. This is the public view right now, but when you log in from your Realty One login, you'll be able to customize your image and your contact information on here, just like you would any other site. But it does preload some of this from your Realty One. So anyway, that's just another nice tool to add value to your website.
What'd you say that was? Showingyou.com?
Showing New, N-E-W.
Showing new.
And it's what is it called again,
It's
Allison?
when you log into your one login, and it's one of the tiles there. It's called New Home Professional.
Mhm.
You have to go into that tile and do this customization like Jordan did to your account, because you have an account with them via Realty ONE Group.
It's a navy blue tile on one login. I can post about it in the Facebook group if you'd like, then you can make sure to check for it. But how you would add it to your website is using this plus sign to the right. You can add any navigation link in that navigation bar in the middle, and you would use this, would type in new construction, use the other selection, and add the link that goes directly to your showingnew.com site. Usually it's showingnew.com / your name. If you have a common name like a Smith, then it might have an extra number after it or something. But here under after, you can add it. You can select where it goes on your navigation bar, and open type. If you do put in a separate URL, then I like clicking new window so that it opens in a separate window so my clients don't leave my website. And if you were going to create your own page, like not a search page like the Rock Hill Homes, but if you were going to add a blog page or maybe a new buyer information page or something, how you would do that on your website is to go back to the 3 dots editing tool on the top right, click new page, and this is how you would create a whole new page for your website. So add headers, title, description, choose a layout. Once you have created that page, then you have to add the navigation on, like we just did a second ago for the new construction. So you add the page first, you create the page, and then add the link to that page. This process is all explained very thoroughly in those training videos in the resources section of OneSuite. So if there are any questions, I would start there. If you run into issues, you can certainly reach out to us to help walk through.
Hey, Amanda, I'm going to interject. I do have to jump off right now. Sorry, I didn't tell you guys that earlier. I have to get down to York, South Carolina by 11:30. So thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing that. I know she's going to continue to share a few more things, and then we're going to do some questions at the end if anybody has any. But again, this is all going to be sent out to you so you can watch it later. So bye, everybody.
Thanks, Allison. Okay, I am going to switch back to OneSuite because I do want to show you how to edit your profile and add those communities and just tweak your personal information that goes on to your website. So I'm in an admin view. You'll see the list of agents on here, but on the top right, you'll see your profile and your name. If you click on it and go to the profile link right here, you will see, and mine is probably not a good example. Let me go to an agent. We'll go to Trisha. You will see a whole lot of items that you can customize for yourself in your OneSuite profile. And we'll start at the top. So the featured communities right here is the same as that featured neighborhoods section that was on your website, that block on the homepage. If you browse these, you can choose either the company ones or the ones that you customize. Back when Allison explained how to customize your own. And you can add these to that block on your website. If you do not have any selected, then that block will show as blank if you have it activated. As you scroll down, you see that there are a lot of shaded gray blocks. These all pull from your zone account. So those are only, you can only change those in your zone account. But you can add things like a professional title. So if you're on a team and you want to add your team name here, or if you want to distinguish yourself as a certain kind of specialist, listing specialist, whatever it might be. And then your zone biography pulls in from your zone account right here. But if you want to change that for your website, then you can customize it and add or tweak to put a new one right here. That will only go on your website if you put it here. Then we can scroll down. If you do speak other languages or want to advertise other languages, you can do that. If you don't, and you don't want English to show, then you can uncheck English. And your email signature. This is where you would change the email signature that goes in your drip campaign letters or anything else that you would send from OneSuite. This pulls in from zone your information from Zone automatically, but if you want to add an image to this or any additional information, you would do it here. Then the last part that might be important for some seasoned agents, if you have any designations or certifications, that mostly this list is an NAR driven list, then you can select those and those will go behind your name on your website. And social media links, those come from Zone as well. And then at the bottom here, you can see the MLS list. That the list of the MLSs in which we are the firm is a member shows here. It shows in a search section on OneSuite as well. So hit save and close if you make any changes. Once you edit your profile, it might take a couple hours for some of those items to go on your website. So don't, if it isn't there, if they aren't there right away, don't worry too much. Check within the next hour or two just to see. If they aren't syncing by that time, then we can ask corporate, check into what's going on. That is the majority of what I wanted to show everyone today. If there are any questions, I'm happy to dive into anything else into OneSuite. Does anyone have any questions? Alan, what's up? You need to unmute. Alan, do you want to ask?
I'm there, yes. Is the recording of this session available for us to share?
It will be available, yes. Taylor is recording. I don't know if she's going to send it out. Taylor, where will it be available?
I'll send it out. I'll put it on our YouTube page and share the link with that probably tomorrow. It normally takes a bit of time to process.
Okay. Brittany, I saw your question. Brittany's question was, how do you get all of your solds to show on your website? If you don't see one of your solds on your website, then you can go to the top left drop-down tool, go to Manage Sold Listings, and search for it by MLS number. It might mean that something was entered wrong in MLS, when it was closed. So just to double check that. We can troubleshoot though if you want to call me.
I have a question on the contacts.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose first name, last name, however you want them to, and I put like first name, but it doesn't save it. The next time I open it up, it's back to the mix. What am I not doing right?
I am not sure. In my experience, it should update quickly.
I mean, it does when I click it, but the next time I open it up, it's not there again.
I'm really not sure. You might have to just play it. Did you try it on a different one?
I've tried it over and over.
It keeps happening. Okay.
Yeah.
I would send a help desk. So this is something all of you should certainly know. If you ever have trouble with the technology, something isn't working the way it should, you can always email support@realtyonegroup.com or helpdesk@realtyonegroup.com. And Realty One has a team completely dedicated to support and help. And they are located in Arizona, and they are pretty quick to respond. Just keep in mind the time change. But they're usually very helpful. So if you're having an issue, they will walk through it with you. If one of us can't at the local level. Okay. If there are no other questions, that's all I have for you today. But good luck using it. Play around with it. You really, can't break anything. You can always set yourself up. I would add yourself as a contact, and you can set yourself up on different campaigns so you see what they look like. Or a friend or husband or whoever you want to use as a guinea pig. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. Oh, Alan, did you have another question? Or is that your hand was still up? Okay, thanks for joining us today. Let us
Thank
know.
you.
Let us know how it goes with OneSuite.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yep. Have a good rest of your week.